MiniWarGaming's Reanimation Protocols.
Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com with Steve.
Hey.
And in this series of videos, we are going to be talking about the new Necron Codex, which I just actually got today, but I got the digital one on Saturday, so we've had time to review it. And since Steve and I both play Necrons, we thought we would sit down and do a series of videos where we talk about all of the changes and what we think about them. Now, before I go into any of this, please keep in mind that neither of us have actually played the new Necrons. Sure. And so we're keeping this in the context of first impressions.
Right.
So, because I don't like, math hammering is fun, but in the end, we don't really know how something's going to work until it's on the field. But there are certain things that we can look at. We can compare old stuff to new stuff. We can talk about what's changed, and that's what we're going to do in this series. And then we're also going to be playing some Necron battle reports. Just Steve and I will be switching who plays, and so we can really try them out and then give our impressions on that as well. So in this series of videos, which we're hoping to make around a dozen videos, we are going to be talking about, first off, the big changes, the huge things. There's tons of little things, but they're really big changes that you will notice the most, such as reanimation protocols and the new Decurion Detachment, basically a new way to build a Necron list. We'll also talk about a lot of the fixes that they've made to some of the old rules like Tesla and Mind Shackle Scarabs. And then we're going to go through most of the codex and compare the old units to the new units and what has changed with each of them. More just in brief summary because, like I said, we haven't played them yet. So we really can't tell you. We might be able to think, yeah, that's better than it used to be. But then when we go on the battlefield, we realize, actually, this thing is better than it used to be, and that one's not.
Possible.
So this first video, we're going to talk about some of the big changes. We're going to be talking about reanimation protocols, resurrection orbs, and the Decurion Detachment. And the next video, which will be at the link below, will be in the MiniWarGaming Vault. We are going to be talking about all the different fixes, such as the Tesla and the Mind Shackle Scarabs and what's changed in those arenas. And other things as well. Some of the updates that they made to make it more 7th edition, such as tactical objectives and relics, artifacts, or whatever you want to call them. And so that's the way this whole series is going to work. Every other episode will be free on YouTube, and the other half will be in the MiniWarGaming Vault. So if you're a Vault member, you can just watch through the series and you got it all. If you're not a Vault member, you can always click the link below to go to the next episode and sign up for a free 7-day trial. We're going to be putting out these videos all in a row. So if you get the 7-day trial, you should be able to watch all of the videos from this first impression part before your trial is even over. And so if you decide you don't want to keep it after that, just go ahead and cancel. I can say that because it's like...
There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Once you're in, it's hard to get out.
You get lost in the awesome in there.
That's right. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there. So let's start the topic. So Steve, I'm going to turn the time over to you just for a second to describe what has changed with reanimation protocols.
Reanimation protocols is no longer laying down your models and at the end of the phase rolling a die, usually on a 5+, getting back up. It's now basically a kind of improved, kind of a better feel no pain. So, I mean, your guys are always going to get that save. You're not going to fail your morale test and then not get your reanimation protocol. It is, to me, tremendously better.
Oh,
with this new save. This whole save thing, it changes what reanimation protocols is altogether. It's a save, basically a feel no pain that you can take even against instant death weapons. Now, on instant death, it is -1 to your roll, but you're still getting your feel no pain, essentially.
Yeah, and when I remember hearing in the rumors that reanimation protocols was changing to a feel no pain, at first I thought, first off, that doesn't sound plausible because it is one of those defining things of Necrons, is reanimation protocols. So why would they change fundamentally how it works? It's always worked that it was after you were done everything and you laid them all down. They've changed how it worked, but it's always been like the end of the phase, see if they get back up. And now it's just a feel no pain that only gets negated with destroyer weapons. Right. And remove from play weapons, which there aren't a lot of. And of course, his death makes it a little harder, although we are going to be talking about the Decurion Detachment in the next video. Or is it this video? No, we're actually going to be talking about that in this video, and the resurrection orbs as well. That gives you all sorts of bonuses.
Yeah, there are a few things in the codex that will give bonuses or tweaks to the reanimation protocol.
Yeah, by default, it's a 5+.
Yeah.
So it's by default, they have feel no pain. Now, if they have feel no pain as well as reanimation, they can only get one of them.
Sure.
I don't think that's going to come up very often, because Necrons don't have access to the psychic powers that would give them endurance, things like that. And so I don't think you're too often going to see.
Other than the chariot or the command barge, I don't think there's any value to the feel no pain.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot better. So let's talk about ways that it gets improved and how it all of a sudden becomes even stronger. So first off, resurrection orbs.
I think they're 25-point upgrades. Very relatively cheap upgrade, which gives you a one-use only item that in a phase where once you fail a reanimation protocol save, you can use the item and re-roll that one, and every other reanimation protocol you roll in that phase afterwards.
From the whole unit.
For the whole unit, yes. The character who's holding it in his unit.
Now that's huge because you have to realize the wording not only makes it's already powerful just to say once per game get to re-roll all failed reanimation protocols for that phase. But the really cool thing is it says after failing a reanimation protocol, you can use your resurrection orb. So it's not like activate the orb at the beginning of the phase, hope that I get shot at so that I can actually use it. And so the one thing that kind of dawned on me is let's say you're charging a unit and they have Overwatch and they fire at you and you fail some reanimation protocols. Let's say they're Lich Guard, so they're like 40, 45 points each. Actually, I don't remember the new points cost, doesn't matter. They're expensive.
A lot cheaper than that.
They're a lot cheaper now? That's even better. But anyways, they're still expensive compared to everything else. And they fail a save, you can then say, well, I lost one, so let's activate the resurrection orb, get them to re-roll that. And on top of that, once we get into the combat, they're getting re-rolls as well because it's the same phase.
Yeah, actually using it in your Overwatch is quite useful. Now, actually, when you're saying that, something occurred to me. Say in combat you fail 5 of these saves. Are you now rolling 1 to see if you fail, or can you roll a 5 and decide to use it then?
I don't understand. What do you mean?
Okay.
Okay, Cryptek charges.
Yep.
Or Cryptek, I'm sorry, Lich Guard charge.
Yeah.
You take 5 unsaved wounds. So you fail your saves, and then you fail all 5 reanimation protocols?
Correct.
Okay, so what's your
So
question?
use your item, use the orb right there.
Then you get to re-roll those 5.
All 5 of them. So you don't have to, because it says re-roll a failed save. You didn't use it, you don't have to roll 1 and then go on.
Well,
so that's something. See, when I first read this item, I said, okay, a re-roll, it's great, it's okay, not great. I don't know if I'd pay 25 points for it until I discussed with Matt about an hour ago. Choosing when to use it, it's a big deal. And it could be, especially for expensive models, it could be worth it. It is worth the 25 points.
So, okay, here's what it says. It can be activated once per game immediately after an unsuccessful reanimation protocols roll has been made for the bearer or another model in the same unit. You can re-roll the failed reanimation protocols roll and any further failed reanimation protocol rolls made for the bearer or any other model in the same unit until the end of the phase. So I'd say yeah.
So, okay, that's so much better. For 25 points deciding when you're going to use it, you lose 1 guy, I won't use it. I lose 2, I'd probably use it. 3, I'm definitely using it.
It depends what you're also talking about. Like if it's a warrior.
Well, if it's a warrior, I'll let him go down. But
whatever.
That 25-point item is probably going to be spent on a guy in a combat unit like Lich Guard or something more expensive.
So furthermore, now we have a re-rollable 5-up save. Now, as if that wasn't enough, we have the new Decurion Detachment. Now, this Decurion Detachment is it's a detachment for the Necrons. A lot of new codexes have been getting their own detachments. This one seems to be the most extensive out of all of them, though, because it is complicated, kind of. It's not. It's once you look at it.
At first glance, it was like, what?
I know it's like 2 pages long, and what it is, it's a group of formations. But it's still a detachment, which means you can't bring it in unbound. That's an important distinction. Formations, you can bring them in unbound, and they can still use their things. And you can still bring all those formations in unbound, but you can't bring the Decurion Detachment, which the main thing that Decurion Detachment does, as well as all the formation bonuses, is it gives everybody in your whole detachment, which is going to be your whole army, +1 reanimation.
Which is
4+.
Awesome.
And your reanimation rolls, it specifically says it can never get better than 4+. And so that's, all of a sudden you have a 4+, throw in a resurrection orb, and when the time is right, you can have 4-up rerollables. And then on top of that, in the Decurion Detachment, the main thing, basically the way the Decurion Detachment works is there's 1 formation you must bring.
It's called the Reclamation, I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, it's Reclamation Squad.
Something or other.
Something like that. Reclamation some doodly or other. Right? Here it is. Reclamation Legion. Of course, we should have known it was Legion. It's Necrons. In the Reclamation Legion, you are required to bring an Overlord, at least 1 group of Immortals, and at least 2 groups of Warriors, and at least 1 group of Tomb Blades. And then you can also add on more of any of those, and Lich Guard, and Monoliths, if we actually care about Monoliths, which we still don't.
We still don't.
But the Reclamation Legion, so that group of guys, that formation's bonus, one of the formation's bonus, is to reroll 1s for reanimation.
If they're within 12 of the Overlord.
Of the Overlord,
Yeah,
yes.
which is, I mean, 4+ reanimations, re-rolling ones.
That's without the Resurrection Orb.
That's without the Resurrection Orb.
Resurrection Orb lets you reroll everything, so those will not combine because you can't reroll rerolls. But 4+ rerolling ones that you always get. Instant Death will make it 5+.
It's still 5+ rerollable if you really need it.
Yeah, and if you're talking about Lich Guard,
With the
Instant
orb.
Death is only strength 10, or Instant Death weapons.
Yeah.
So that seems kind of powerful.
I mean, getting a 5+ feel no pain against instant death weapons is awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and always, it's just Well, yeah, exactly. It's just awesome. Reroll it once, or all of them if you have the Resurrection Orb. Very powerful.
Did they need a buff in this manner? No.
I don't. For me, reanimation was always kind of a so-so thing. It was sometimes
It was a nice little extra thing your army had.
The thing for me is, it never worked when I wanted it to work.
I never had that problem.
My warriors would last forever, and my
Right.
Lich Guard would die immediately.
True.
And so I'm like, oh great, warrior got back up, but this 45-point Lich Guard guy
They
didn't.
Yeah, they never got back up at 45 points.
Exactly, never did. And so that was my issue, is that it never mattered where it mattered.
Well, I mean, the biggest buff to it, other than the save, you'd always be able to take it, is before your guys would go down, you do your morale test, and if you failed, you
don't get
flee
any of it.
away. You don't get any of your save. There are a lot of units like the Tomb Blades who never got to take advantage of the Resurrection,
Because you'd kill them all.
because they would die, or one would survive, and he would flee, and nobody's getting back up. Now everybody's always getting the save.
Yeah. Except against Destroyer.
Actually, I believe it does say, with the exception of Destroyer, this save can be taken even when it says
No saves allowed.
saves of any kind allowed. So you're always getting the save unless it's Destroyer
Yeah, exactly. Or remove from play.
or move and play.
So that and the Decurion Detachment. Now the Decurion Detachment, kind of expanding on it, has that Reclamation Legion, and then it has a bunch of other formations, which we're not going to go into detail in this video about all those formations. We're actually going to do a couple videos just about that because there's so much to it.
There's a handful in here.
There's like 11 new formations for the Necrons.
Not all of them give you buffs though.
Yeah, dude.
No.
Which ones don't give you buffs?
If you're counting all 11 on this page here, like just one page over, that one doesn't give you anything. I don't think that one gives you anything.
Oh, I see, because it's not a formation.
And that one doesn't give you
You
anything.
can bring a unit of flame
Yeah, these are
ones.
just little extras you can.
Okay, so there's
yeah.
9 formations. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because those are the auxiliary ones.
But basically, I think everything in the Codex, I'm about to double check that, but I'm pretty sure everything in the Codex can be added to this formation. I don't think anything is excluded.
No, everything's pretty much there.
Yeah.
And you just have to bring them in certain ways, like you actually are forced. There are restrictions in there, and the biggest thing that the Reclamation, or that the Decurion Detachment doesn't give you, which I think is a big deal, is no objective secured. And that is a big deal. Steve doesn't think so.
Well, I know, I agree. I agree. It's a deal.
It's a deal.
It's a deal. I don't know if it's. I've never personally experienced a incident where, I think maybe one time actually, where objective secured made a difference for me.
Oh, see, I see it all the time.
If it does, it does. But this is just theory right here, but I think the Decurion Detachment is probably going to be my standard go-to detachment.
Well, it's like the Grey Knights with the Nemesis Strike Squad thing, where they get to deep strike. Well, they start deep striking from turn 1 if they make their thing. I've seen I've played a lot of Grey Knights recently, and 9 times out of 10 they bring that detachment, and
I mean,
because it's just a good one. But they don't get objective security either. But usually when they deep strike in front of you, they kill everybody. It doesn't matter anyways. So, but we're not talking about Grey Knights here, thankfully. So, so yeah, big buffs, and I think now once again theory crafting here. I think reanimation protocols is going to be complained about a lot. I think people are going to be complaining about it because it's not like everything took a points. Not like they all got points increases for this better reanimation. If anything, they got better.
Everything is both the same or cheaper.
Yeah. So that's all we're going to talk about here in this video. The video in the description below, we are going to be talking about the fixes, such as Mind Shackle Scarabs, Tesla, and some of the new stuff for 7th edition. So go ahead, click that link below, and happy wargaming.